There is a cardinal in your yard right now that is waiting for you to leave, not flying away because you're there, waiting. And the moment you turn from the window, the moment your shadow disappears from the back door, that bird does something it would never do in front of you. Something it has been doing for weeks, maybe months, just outside your line of sight. Most people live their entire lives beside this and never see it once. But once you know what to look for, you will never look at your yard the same way again. And it begins the second your back is turned. Welcome back to Backyard Bird Mind. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe because what you're about to learn will quietly change every glance you ever take out your kitchen window. Today we're talking about one of the most overlooked secrets in backyard wildlife, what your cardinal does the moment you walk away, not while you're watching it, after. We're going to walk through 7 specific things that happen the instant you leave, what each one reveals about how that bird has been quietly studying you, and we're going to end with the one most people feel in their chest long before they ever understand it with their head. Stay with me to the end, because number 5 is something researchers genuinely did not expect to find, and the final one is the one that changes everything. Number 1, the moment you leave, it moves in closer than it ever would with you there. You've seen the cautious version, the cardinal that hangs at the edge of the yard, flicking its tail, watching from a safe branch while you fill the feeder. That careful bird is the only cardinal most people ever meet, but it is not the bird that exists the second you step back inside. Researchers studying flight initiation distance, the precise space at which a bird decides a human is too close, have shown that cardinals recalibrate that distance in real time, individual by individual, person by person. The instant the perceived threat withdraws, that buffer collapses to almost nothing. The bird will land where your hand just was. It will perch on the rim of the feeder you just touched. People assume it simply got hungry. It is not that. You were the variable. Remove you and a different, bolder animal steps forward. The shy bird at your window is a performance. The real one comes out the moment you're gone. Number 2, it checks the spot you were standing in. This one is subtle and you'll only ever catch it on a security camera or in a reflection. After you turn away, the cardinal often orients toward the exact place you were, the door, the chair, the window, and holds there for a beat, not feeding, watching the absence of you. Ornithologists call this sight-based vigilance, and in birds that have learned a specific human, it is targeted. Cornell's Lab of Ornithology has documented that backyard species build mental maps of their territory that include not just food and predators, but the reliable individuals who move through it. You are a landmark in that map. When you vanish, the bird registers the change. It is confirming you're really gone before it relaxes. Think about what that means. Your leaving is an event worth checking on. Number 3, it calls, and the call is about you. Here's something you can test the next time you walk away from the window. Stop just inside the door and listen. In the first few seconds after a familiar, trusted person leaves, the acoustic landscape of a yard shifts. The sharp, urgent alarm notes, the thin, ventriloquistic seat, the metallic chip a cardinal uses when something is wrong, those tend to fade. What rises instead are softer contact calls, the everyday conversation of birds telling each other the coast is the coast again. In a yard where the human is unknown, the opposite happens. Alarm climbs the second the stranger goes out of sight, because a threat you can't see is more dangerous than a threat you can. So listen tomorrow. If the sound that follows you indoors is calm chatter rather than warning, you have your answer. They weren't waiting for you to leave because they were afraid of you. They were noting in their own language that you specifically did. Number 4, it resumes a routine it paused for you. Cardinals are creatures of astonishing structure. They follow the same feeding circuits, the same perches, the same order of arrivals day after day. When you step outside, that routine bends around you. Birds reposition, delay, reroute. The second you're gone, it snaps back into place with a precision that is almost mechanical. Long-term field studies tracking individual songbirds have shown that a familiar human does not break the routine. The routine includes the human as a predictable interruption. You are not chaos in their day. You are a scheduled pause, and the smoothness with which they resume the moment you leave tells you something quietly remarkable. They had already accounted for you. They knew you'd go. They were simply waiting for the part of the day that has your name on it to end. Number 5, it returns to something it hid while you were there. This is the one researchers did not expect. Cardinals cache. They tuck seeds into bark, into leaf litter, into the crooks of branches, and they remember, sometimes for weeks, exactly where. But long-term observation of caching birds began to reveal something stranger. Many of them will not retrieve or re-hide a cache, while a watching individual is present, not a predator, a watcher, any set of eyes, including yours. There is strong evidence that caching birds track who is looking at them and delay their most secret behavior until the audience is gone. So the second you turn away, the bird does the thing it deliberately would not do in front of you. It goes to the hidden seed, it moves it, it protects it. You were never just a feeder filler to that bird. You were an observer it was managing, and the instant your eyes left, it finally did its private work. Stay with me here, because the next one is where the science starts brushing up against something harder to name. Number 6, it tells the others you've gone. Your cardinal does not hold its impression of you alone. The information about you, safe, generous, predictable, or none of those, moves through your yard the way weather moves through a sky. A landmark study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences showed that American crows can learn and share the identity of a specific human face, with birds who had never personally met a person adopting the reaction of those who had. The recognition spread through the population. For your cardinal, the mechanism is humbler but no less real. When it stays calm as you leave, every chickadee, every nuthatch, every titmouse eavesdropping on that calm receives the same message: the big one is gone and it was fine. Your reputation in your yard isn't stored in one small skull. It's distributed across a whole network of animals that communicate with each other constantly. The easy, unbothered quiet that follows you indoors is a collective verdict. They vouched for you, and the moment you walked away, they confirmed it to each other. Number 7, it comes back to wait for you. Here's the part most people miss entirely. After all of it, the bolder approach, the checked doorway, the resumed routine, the secret cache, the quiet conversation that follows you indoors, the cardinal frequently returns to the perch closest to where you stand, and it waits, not for food. The feeder is already full. Scientists call this anticipatory behavior. Birds that learn a person's schedule begin orienting toward that person's arrival before there is any cue to react to. In one long-term study, crows near a suburban feeding site repositioned themselves up to 12 minutes before a familiar caretaker appeared, and they did it for her alone. So the strangest, most quietly extraordinary thing your cardinal does the moment you walk away may simply be this. It begins in its own way to expect you back. You leave. It does its private life. And then it settles where it can see the door. You are not a passing shape in its day. You are something it returns to. And that brings me to the last thing, the one I saved for the end because it belongs at the end. Everything we've covered has been behavior, memory, recognition, the science of what a bird can know. And that science is real, and it is more profound than most people are ever told. But for many of you, the moment you can't quite explain, the one you've never forgotten, had nothing to do with the study. It happened when someone you loved was gone. You were standing at the window or sitting on the porch in a house that had gone too quiet, and a cardinal came, and it stayed longer than birds usually stay. It looked at you, and you felt, not thought, felt, that something was being communicated. And then, when you finally turned away to take a breath, when you broke the gaze, you turned back and it was still there, watching the spot where you had been. I'm not going to tell you that you were wrong. The belief that the red cardinal carries the presence of someone who has passed is one of the oldest and most deeply held spiritual beliefs in American life. It crosses denominational lines, regional lines, generational lines. The Cherokee held the bird sacred. Christian tradition tied its red to resurrection and the blood of the saints. The popular modern belief that a cardinal is a loved one saying hello was not invented by anyone. It rose up on its own in millions of people because they kept having the same experience and reaching for the same words to describe it. What the science tells us is this: the bird in your yard has a capacity for awareness, recognition, memory, and intention that almost no one is ever taught. The idea that its behavior might be touched by presences or forces that we don't yet have instruments to measure is not something science has ruled out. It is something science simply hasn't finished asking about. And what this community has told me in thousands of comments and messages over the months is something simpler. When a bird came to you in that moment, you weren't foolish to pay attention. The instinct that told you it was different was not wrong. And whatever you believe about what it meant, you are not alone in it. So the next time you walk away from your window, remember this. The cardinal does not stop existing when you stop watching. It does its boldest, most private, most human-touched things in the space right after you turn around. It moves closer, it checks the doorway, it quiets the alarm in the trees, it returns to its hidden seed, it tells the others, and then it settles where it can see the place you will come back from. The bird knows you're there, and it notices every single time the moment you're not. Before I go, I want to ask you something, and I genuinely want your answer in the comments below. Has a cardinal ever come to you in a way that felt like more than coincidence? A moment that stopped you, that you've thought about since? What was happening in your life when it did? Tell me about it. This community has shared some of the most moving stories I've ever read, and every one of them matters. And if something in this video made you think of someone, share it with them, or share it for them. Sometimes the right words at the right moment are exactly the thing. Thank you for being here at Backyard Bird Mind. I'll see you in the next one.